Well, hello and welcome everybody to my kitchen garden. Now, today I've decided that I need to shred all the prunings that I've made over the last few weeks. There's quite a large pile of it. So what I get on and do with that, why don't you find out what I've been up to over this last week? Now this morning I'm just sowing these lovely tagettes. Now you may be wondering why I'm sowing these, and there's two reasons. The main reason is that what I've done this year, as a bit of an experiment, is I have asked ChatGPT AI to come up with a weekly seed sowing list to cover all my vegetables, fruit, herbs, etc, etc. But I've also wanted companion planting thrown in, and it recommends tagettes as a companion plant as well. So I'm just sowing these today and we'll see how these get on. But what it's also recommended that I've sown already this week: coriander, rockets, spinach, and then microgreens in a way of radish and mustard, and also some chilies. Thankfully we have lots of chilies already on the go. So I'm just wondering actually how deep only about ½ centimetre of compost needed on these, so not a huge amount. But yeah, basically Mondays at the moment are about catching up on making sure that the entire list for the week has been sown. And I'm interested to see just how well the AI actually gets these predictions of these seeds that we should be sowing right. I'm not a huge fan of AI, if I'm honest with you, but it is an upcoming thing that I think we should all be keeping an eye on and using if it becomes appropriate. There we go. Well, it should do okay. Well, today is Tuesday the 14th of January 2024, and today I popped into a garden centre once again while I was on my lunch break. But I got a real bargain actually. I found that they were selling off some of these carnivorous plants, which I'm quite a big fan of carnivorous plants anyway. They were selling them off cheap at £1.29. There was 8 of them in total, so I bought all 8 of them. Now, I do grow quite a few carnivorous plants, particularly indoors or in the greenhouse. The reason being is that I find they're a great way of reducing the amount of flies and pests that we may have. The reason for that is that obviously when we're sowing seeds, there may be compost fungus, compost gnats inside the compost, which tend to fly as the eggs hatch. There are of course other means of tackling this, and it doesn't seem to matter what the compost is these days. They all seem to have it, particularly now we're moving with their peat-free composts. So I just find that having carnivorous plants for me has been a great way of really reducing the flies, and meaning my wife gets less annoyed with me having seedlings inside the kitchen. And for £1.29 for 8 of them, I thought that's got to be an absolute bargain, and I'm quite happy with that. Should have been £12.99, which I think is a bit pricey to be honest with you, but nonetheless I'm quite happy with these. Now, if you've ever grown strawberries, as we got here, you will know you always get some runners, some extra plants, which I always think is a great way to try and get more plants and therefore more strawberries. Now normally I grow my strawberries in hanging baskets, and these are the runners that come off from those hanging baskets. But what I'm doing, the first year, these runners, they always go in the greenhouse so I can get some early strawberries from them. But what I'm going to do instead, I'm changing it over that we don't grow them in hanging baskets, certainly not in the first year anyway, but instead we're going to grow them in these pots, which will go inside the greenhouse in the auto pot system. And what that should mean is that hopefully it will give us more fruits, bigger, better fruits, and better plants as well. So 2 plants have gone in here. Let's put this in the auto pot system. Now last week we harvested our ginger. This week I want to harvest turmeric, which I've never actually harvested before, to be honest. I've had this plant growing for years, but I've never actually made any harvests from it. So I'm kind of hoping, like the ginger, we're going to have some success. I'm guessing it's ready by the fact that it has died back. Oh, this beautiful smell I can smell right now. There we go. Look at that. That to me looks like a lovely piece of turmeric there. What do you think? That looks absolutely wonderful, but I think I could feel, yeah, I could. There's more. Look at that. That is beautiful. Even more there. And is there any more? Because I think that first piece I will replant on the hope that we end up getting some more. Yeah, that is it. That is totally it. So what I'm going to do is replant that piece so that we get turmeric again next week. I will cut those stems off. But this, let me give this a quick wash. There we go, giving that a quick wash. Now what I want to see, if we break this off, look at that beautiful turmeric flavour. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with this now. Do we dry it? Do we? I don't know. It smells lovely though. I'm happy with that. Look at all this lovely wood chip. This really does make me very, very happy. I actually have got quite a few tubs of this stuff now. The question is, what am I going to do with it? What would you do with all this wood chip? Let me know in the comments. Personally, I'm probably just going to compost all this, throw it in the compost bin and let it rot down. Added with all our other materials, it should make for a really, really good compost. However, we could also use it as a mulch or for the chickens to play around with. What would you do with it? Well, I'm going to pack up now, and that's it for this week. As always, please do let me know what you've been doing in your own allotment and in your own garden this week as well. I will be back again in the next video down on the allotment as always, so until then, please take care.